In the long line of terror groups, there is a new one which is a headache for all security groups in the country right now. They're called Sanatan Bharatiya Sanskruti Sanstha, and it was established by a hypnotherapist called Jayant Athavale in 1990. Sounds intriguing? Well, they are. And while they popped up in the news about a decade ago for their protests against Jodha Akbar, they grabbed our attention this week because of the immense haul of arms and ammunition that the anti-terror squad have found in their premises. They're also the brains behind the murder of journalist Gauri Lankesh and the other activists like Govind Pansare and Narendra Dabholkar. And so these lines from the Sanatan Sanstha's literature are a reminder of the philosophy behind this dangerous group, which has not only eliminated these key activists and free thinkers, but also planned communal tension, violence and disruptions. That's because the booklet of Kshatriyadharma Sadhana, their literature says, and I quote, "Only 5% of the crusade against evil is of physical nature. Only 0.5% will need to undergo training with weapon. It does not matter if one is not used to shooting. When one shoots along with chanting of Lord's name, the bullet strikes the target." Now these words, which have been quoted by the CBI in the charge sheet, sound quite literal when you look back at how Gauri Lankesh was killed for her strident writings against Hindu groups, and how Narendra Dabholkar and Govind Pansare were killed too. Men in motorcycles shooting them all down, the same modus operandi. And now the anti-terror squad of Maharashtra indicating that it's the same group behind all these killings. So on Reality Check, we'll try and explain to you what is this group. How did a few men who got together in 1990, led by a hypnotherapist, how did they manage to become this dreaded terror group? How did they go from Goa and Panvel, Sangli, Pune, Jalgaon to becoming this national organization? Maybe because of their deadly activities with a single motive: target anything that they perceive as anti-Hindu. So while the ATS is quietly working and surprising many people because they haven't let politics get in the way till now, on the show, we'll talk to key people to understand the group. But first, Saurabh Gupta tells us what investigators have found till now.
During the investigation, we have seized a lot of weapons, explosive substances, lot of literature. And up till now, we have arrested 4 accused. ATS Maharashtra has formed several teams, and those teams are working throughout Maharashtra and adjoining parts of the Maharashtra.
It started as an arms haul, but turned into a full-blown terror investigation into this 28-year-old group called Sanatan Sanstha. It is credited with eliminating top rationalists and free thinkers. The arrests give us a sense of this shadowy group, which started in 1990 with its headquarters in Goa. Take for instance 25-year-old Sharad Kalaskar, who was arrested from Nalasopara for making weapons. He started attending meetings of the Sanstha in Goa. Investigators say he was attracted by the extreme right-wing ideology, and that's what led him to meeting Dr. Virendra Tavade, who CBI believes is the main plotter behind the anti-superstition activist Narendra Dabholkar's murder. 50-year-old Virendra Tavade is known as the Sadhak of Sanatan Sanstha. This means a seeker. An ENT specialist by profession, he joined the Sanatan Sanstha in 1998 and is known to have worked closely with its founder, hypnotherapist Jayant Athavale, till he was arrested in June 2016. But it's the arrest of a 37-year-old Pune-based engineer Amol Kale that has generated the latest round of interest in the group. A proud affiliate, Kale is said to have gone for the group's meetings for more than a decade and was actively involved in brainwashing more people like Sharad Kalaskar. For him, the Sanstha was a way of life, something he was willing to do anything for. And that's what motivated him to allegedly kill Gauri Lankesh, as he believed she was anti-Hindu. The investigation of these men led the CBI to Sachin Andure and a pistol that was used in Dabholkar's murder in 2013, pointing to the final conclusion: how all these murders may be linked. Before the murders, the Sanatan Sanstha came on police radar in 2008 when two members of the group allegedly carried out a blast at a Panvel cinema screening Jodha Akbar. Two others linked to the group were found guilty of planting a bomb at the parking lot of an auditorium in Thane in June 2008 to protest against a play which according to them showed Hindu gods in poor light. Sentenced to 10 years in jail, they have challenged the verdict and are out on bail. According to the investigative agencies, Sanatan Sanstha workers were also involved in a bomb blast in Goa's Madgaon city in October 2009.
It's a clear big racket and conspiracy. Now so many people are involved and so many connections. It's good that all the three agencies are coordinating now. The CBI, Maharashtra Police. So this coordination will definitely lead to the logical end. Now because of the political pressures, I think they are not going all out. I don't know why they are hesitating, because if somebody, there is on suspicion, there is a provision in law, you can arrest a person on suspicion.
कि जितने लोग अधिवेशन में आते हैं, भले वो बंगाल के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हो, तमिलनाडु से हो या कर्नाटक से हो, जहाँ से भी हो, जो व्यक्ति हिंदू अधिवेशन में आता है, हमसे 2-3 साल जुड़ा जाता है, वो तो साधक ही होता है। सनातन संस्था में ऐसा कोई साधकत्व या मेंबरशिप नहीं होती। जो हमारी तरफ से साधना करता है वो साधक है, तो वो हिसाब से ये कहने में कोई मतलब मुझे हिचक नहीं है कि वो हमारे बिल्कुल साधक ही थे। तो बहुत दुखी है कि हर व्यक्ति को सनातन संस्था से जोड़ करके सनातन संस्था को बदनाम किया जा रहा है।
In 2012, the Maharashtra government set a proposal to ban Sanatan Sanstha. In 2013, the Union Home Ministry replied, seeking clarifications. In 2015, the Maharashtra government wrote back to the centre, asking for a ban on the Sanatan Sanstha. But since then, there has been a rethink and the ban hasn't come through from the centre.
Well, the Sanatan Sanstha has been under the scanner for a long time now, and even a proposal has been sent by the Maharashtra government asking for a ban. Opinion of security experts are divided when it comes to a ban, because many feel that with the Sanstha having many splinter groups, a ban really may not be effective in tackling the problem at its roots. In Mumbai with Sunil Singh, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
So it's this fascinating, dangerous group which we're learning about right now, and to learn more about them and their reality, joining us now we have Sudhakar Suratkar, former IPS officer and someone who worked closely with Hemant Karkare, who first realized what a threat groups like this are. And that was a decade ago, at the time that they were throwing bombs at places that they thought were presenting anti-Hindu films or anti-Hindu theatre. In fact, the Sanatan Sanstha also got convicted. Activists from there got convicted for their protests against a theatre around that time as well. And that's when the alarm bells first started going off. Also, we have joining us Rashmi Parmeshwaran, who is a member of Sanatan Sanstha, to get a perspective on what it is like for a member of that group and their perspective on all these terror linkages that are emanating. We have also Mukta Dabholkar of the family of Narendra Dabholkar, the anti-superstition activist who was murdered, and for whose murder the CBI charge-sheeted the Sanatan Sanstha and its activists in 2016. Sudhakar Suratkar, if we can just come to you first. When we hear about Jayant Athavale, and why it's become really relevant to learn about them right now is because we know the ATS is planning to question him. We don't know when that's going to happen, but he is the one who founded this organization in 1990. He is, and you know, when one looks at his bio, it looks fascinating that he did extensive research on hypnotherapy in UK in the 70s. Then he returned and practiced as a hypnotist from 78 to 88, and then moved to spiritual sciences after that, and then was accused of brainwashing people into his radical ideas. What more can you tell us about the founder of this group, which grew in such a to such a massive scale in just about in 3 decades?
Actually, what is happening, timely action is not being taken. There was no political will. He should have been arrested long back. Then they could have prevented the following murders. Now, unless there is a political will, I am happy now it appears that the political will is there and all the three agencies are jointly going ahead. There is no question of delaying it. It should be done immediately, because there is a provision in law that you can arrest a person on suspicion. Actually, there are two ways of disclosing things. One, you arrest a person after you collect the evidence. There are circumstances where you have to arrest a person, interrogate him, and then evidence comes out. So this is a case where custodial interrogation is very necessary, and that too by very well expert, because he is very well qualified, he knows how to deal with. So here, unless that is done, I think
Mr. Surathan,
things will not come out.
You're telling us what should be done with them. I wanted to ask you to throw some light for us about this organization. When they started out, did they start out wanting to be a militant organization which would eliminate people like the kind of eliminations that we are seeing right now? In 1990, when he started, we know they gave fiery speeches, but did they start out wanting to become this kind of a terror organization?
Actually, what happens, if you get away with certain things, then it emboldens one. Now, they have, it's very well known, they have involved in so many explosions, murders and all that. But effective action has not been taken so far. It's only of late, now the action has started. And if you see, I think the circumstances have forced certain agencies to take action. So this is not the right way to deal with this is such a problem. Here, the message has to go, clear message has to go that no terrorist activities be allowed, and it will be timely checked.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, timely action is not being taken. Not only that, timely punishment is also not being done.
Okay.
So unless exemplary punishment is given,
right,
and quick punishment is given, I think the message will not go.
Okay, so that's your message is obviously to the ATS about what they should be doing with their investigation, but we are trying to understand what this organization is really about. And Rashmi Parmeshwaran, that's where we really appreciate your inputs on this as a member of this organization, which is being looked at by the ATS as being behind these sensational murders. What do you think about this, and what can you tell us about your founder, Dr. Athavale?
Sanatan Sanstha is a spiritual organization, and it has been teaching spirituality to the people, to the masses, and many have got experiences of their stress and other problems getting reduced due to spirituality. And it doesn't teach anything that was alleged on it till now. In this media and in many places, and regarding the founder of this organization, he has been spreading this spiritual science not only in India but also in abroad. And he regarding the question of banning it or not, I would like to inform you that since 2009, many investigation agencies like IB, CBI, NIA have interrogated thousands of seekers of Sanatan Sanstha, have visited the ashram. They have even interrogated the founder of Sanatan Sanstha, but till now nothing anti-national, they have found nothing anti-national or anti-social being done by this Sanstha, and that's why it couldn't be banned till now. So that means there is no evidence of
I understand.
And we feel that this hurry, in a hurry, some accusations are being done on Sanatan Sanstha to
But
ban
Ms. Parmeshwaran,
it.
I want to ask you, do you agree with the philosophy? So, do you condemn the killings of Gauri Lankesh and of Narendra Dabholkar and of Govind Pansare, Kalburgi? Do you condemn all these killings? Do you agree with the philosophy that they stood for? They were anti-superstition. Do you agree with their ideology?
Killing or murder of anybody is totally unconstitutional, against the constitution, including the many Hindu Hindu activists in Kerala and Karnataka who are being killed, who were killed and being killed, so they totally against the constitution.
No, but do you tell, do the followers of Sanatan Sanstha, do they advocate against what these people stood for? That's what I want to know. Because when you read the charge sheet that CBI presented, ma'am, in that charge sheet, it depicts and documents. I know you're saying that, I understand that you deny all these associations or allegations of murder, but the charge sheet provides documents of various instances and how the doctrination happened. So I want to ask you, do you accept the ideology of what Gauri Lankesh and Dabholkar, they all stood for? Do you accept their point of view, or do you all advocate against it?
We have brought into light many financial discrepancies of the Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti, and they had tried to bring one law in Maharashtra in which many clauses were against Hindu Dharma, when already many rules were there in the needed to be brought. So we do disagree, but at the level of thoughts, the opposition was only at the level of thoughts.
I understand. That's the version.
The opposition till now had been lawful. We had got all information through RTI, and all the opposition are going on only at only lawfully. And along with this, I would like to ask you one question: why Dabholkar and Pansare family has approached the High Court to stall the murder case? Why do they don't want the case to go ahead? And why didn't they oppose the bail of Nagori and Khandelwal, when within few days of Dabholkar's murder they were arrested by the police and arms were seized from them?
No,
so,
ma'am, Ms. Parmeshwaran, I think that we are digressing from what we are talking about right now. I accept the point that you're trying to make over there, and I want to take that to Mukta Dabholkar, the daughter of Narendra Dabholkar, and they've been involved in this fight to get justice, because for so long the police couldn't really get to the bottom of these murders, and that's the kind of breakthrough that they're getting with the linkages being established right now. Remember, they have interrogated one of those people that they picked up, the ATS picked up, and that led them to another one, and now they found a pistol which they believe links both Gauri Lankesh's murder and the one that took place, and the murder of Narendra Dabholkar. I want to ask you, Mukta Dabholkar, do you believe, you just heard what Rashmi Parmeshwaran, one of the Sanstha members, just said, do you believe it's the entire organization that works in this ideology, that they have a hit list of people that they want to attack, or do you believe it's some people there who have been arrested now, who went rogue, the people who we've profiled in the story right now, like Amol Kale, Sharat Kalaskar, Sudhanva Gondhelkar? Do you believe it's just a few of these people, and of course Taude, who has been charge sheeted for your father's murder? Do you believe it's some of these people who went rogue, or do you believe the entire Sanatan Sanstha works as a militant organization, making lists of people who they believe to be anti-Hindu?
We can know about this from the publications of the Sanstha. They publish a paper in Marathi, a newspaper named as Sanatan Prabhat, and if you go through this newspaper, you will find several instances where an appeal has been made to take a recourse to violence. For example, such lines as, if you kill a mosquito, you feel so good. Then think, if you will be able to kill a Durjan. Durjan is a word used repeatedly in this newspaper and used repeatedly by the Sanstha members. And if you will kill a Durjan, how much pleasure one can get? Or they have written like this, that they have made an appeal to all Hindus to turn to violent activities. हिंदुओं ऐसा बनो करके बोला है. So there are numerous instances in this newspaper. If you will just go through it, you will find many of them. If you will refer to their books such as Chhatra Dharma Sadhana, you will find many instances where they have said that they have talked of violent means. It could be possible that some people who are sadhakas of this sanstha may not be knowing about all these activities, because they have a very benign face, which as the representative said, work in the field of spirituality and spiritual upliftment is what they talk about. So there can be people who believe in this and who think that the organization is only about spirituality, but their literature, it's not necessary that somebody has to speak about it. You just go through their literature and find out the instances where a recourse to violence is being talked of. The second thing is that and that's what you were talking about, like
yes.
how that's the ideology, I think, and it needs
even
to
we
be,
quoted a few lines, which is there in the CBI charge sheet. The few lines that
yes.
we quoted over there, which is there, which CBI has charge sheeted and said that this is the evidence, that this is their ideology, where they believe, and you know, it's the lines are about a bullet and how you have to train for a bullet. And of course, investigators have found that there are sharpshooters who have been trained for this. That's what investigators have found. Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, and after Dr. Dabholkar's murder, what they had published in their daily, it was written that it was good, rather, that he didn't die lying in a bed, and that was a better kind of a death that he had. And also it was written that it is said that everybody gets a fruit of his karma. So what is this? Other than praising violence, other than asking people for justification of violence.
Yeah.
And this is, yeah. And,
no, so Ms. Parmeshwaran, I want to take that to Ms. Parmeshwaran. Would you want to respond to this? All these instances of where you are advocating. Yeah.
Regarding Sanatan Prabhat, that Madam has just now she told about Sanatan Prabhat. Sanatan Prabhat, we have been publishing this this newspaper since past 19 years, and till now no illegal.
It's not illegal. It's a call to violence that they're talking about. When you write things like that killing a mosquito, then you write about training to kill, and you have to chant the Lord's name, and the bullet strikes the target. It obviously sounds like you're advocating violence against those you consider to be enemy of the faith.
Sanatan Prabhat, we have brought into light many discrepancies of Andhashraddha Nirmulan Samiti. We had written about their Naxalite links. We brought into light their financial discrepancies also.
They don't talk about themselves, and they just digress from the conversation always.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask, Mr. Sudhakar, do you believe, as someone who has studied this organization closely from the time when no one was paying attention to them, do you believe they have a hit list of more people which should be worrying for everyone?
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't discuss it with Karkare. He had met me a couple of days earlier, and he was very much disturbed. And he wanted to discuss it because there was political pressure. He was not allowed to act freely. Now, that is what I have been repeatedly saying, that there is no political will. If there is a political will, why should it so long? It appears on the face of it that the Maharashtra police were forced to take action.
Yes, yeah. But I think you're advocating
if you go
for
through
a
their
complete
literature.
ban. No, one second. You're advocating for a complete ban. However, my colleague tells me that he's spoken, my colleague Saurabh Gupta, who was investigating this case.
No, I have not said about ban.
He says that they believe that after Simi, bans don't work because they keep coming back. So that's the reason why, even though they advocate, they've sent the file in 2012, but that's not something that investigating agencies want, because they say that that's counterproductive.
Yeah, I am also not for ban. I am not in favor of ban. I am in favor of taking stringent action. Break them. Don't allow them to disappear, because ban will make them disappear. So I am not for ban. I am for severe and prompt action. So if that happens, unfortunately we don't see that it's happening. And there are so many reasons why it is not happening.
Ms. Dabholkar, final word to you.
Because-
Do you believe that they're on the right track? Do you believe you're going to finally get justice?
Yeah, we do believe that an important development has been made by the investigating agencies, and it is important, but it is not sufficient. The whole plot needs to be unfolded.
Yes.
As we all know, 4 people have been murdered, and it shouldn't take much time to unfold it. That's what also
we're totally out of time, but this case proves a crucial test for all involved, especially the investigators, the CBI and state police agencies, who are otherwise seen as being caged parrots or politically motivated, have been praised for their professionally working on this. Will they continue to do so or not? That's what everyone's hoping and watching out for, and that's a reality we'll keep tracking. Thanks for watching.